the IoT has potential to be an enormous threat because there are already something like 23 billion devices out there, most of which have very little security built into them. They can't be patched, they're almost impossible to manage. They're very low level in terms of their ability to understand any kind of security control. They don't have authentication in them. And if you look at things like the Mirai botnet attack, a lot of that was actually conducted with Internet of Things devices. So they're easy to find, easy to compromise, and very hard to defend. The problem is that in many ways, IoT devices are seen as commodity items. And therefore you have a race to the bottom on time to market, unit cost, and that kind of issue. When you do that, quite often the first casualty of the development process is security. People don't want to spend extra time and money on developing security. I mean, for example, if you want to have a chip that supports good encryption, it might cost you another $5 per unit. Do you want to add $5 to the unit cost when it's a competitive market? You know, especially if you've got things like webcams, there's all sorts of different cameras out there. Are people going to deliberately spend $5 more to buy one that's more secure? And for the home market, the answer is probably no. If you haven't designed security in from day one, you're inviting trouble. Security should be there by design and default in anything that you're doing. And of course, in this increasing age of things like GDPR and the Network and Information Systems Directive that's coming out, you not only have a compliance issue, you can also have a reputational issue. If you get bitten badly by someone using some of these increasing number of automated tools like Showdown and Autosploit that exist now, it's getting easier and easier to find and exploit these kind of things. They can have a major impact on your business. Now that could be, as I said, a reputational impact, it could be a regulatory impact, or it could simply be a financial impact because you're closed down. You need to understand what's inside the product. You need to be able to profile it, understand what components, even down to the extent of what code libraries this thing is using, so you know where the vulnerabilities lie, if any. Taking these kind of things apart, doing assurance tests on them, I know they're not the kind of things that a normal business would do, but how do I segregate this kind of product away from other technologies? How do I make sure that if there is some kind of incident, it can't then have an adverse impact on other parts of my business? The ingenuity and the determination of people like organised crime, or nation state for that matter, knows no bounds. They will work very, very hard in order to try and make either have an adverse impact on you or make money out of you. You've got people like ARM, Google, Intel, who are now producing IoT platforms, chipsets, code bases, etc., which do actually have a creditable degree of security capability. The thing is to make sure that you're buying technology that includes that, and that the manufacturers have then made use of those functions to actually develop a secure device. Yes, there are things you can do now, provided you plan properly, you do your research and you acquire the right kind of technology, you can defend yourself in most cases. The first thing is to do your homework, to understand what is this function trying to achieve, what can it do, and therefore what assets are associated with it, what adverse impacts could there be. So you're looking to do a business impact analysis to understand what potentially could go wrong. Once you understand the scale of what could go wrong, you've then got an idea of how much effort you need to put into managing that risk based on your risk appetite. So therefore, how much is it worth me going to spend, and what potentially could I spend? So what are my options in terms of controls, and which are the most appropriate ones to apply? It's the same kind of process you would do for anything else, but you have to understand the IoT technology in order to answer those questions.